let's go.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock's crashing, like an IPO. Trying to
Yo, what's good, Beaches?
Sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now the king left and they so mad, it's like
good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
yeah, hey, look what I got. New whip with no top. Cooking up no stove top. Ice cold, no snow drop. Big budget ass, big facts. Big money in the contract. Been running no contact. New record with the new tracks. Yeah, they been sending me new plaques. I don't really need new plaques. Nah, big rock with the suplex. Yeah, new rock got a new flex. Yeah, I'm current, I'm a new trend. Knock boys with the full scent. Yeah, like I said, no new friends. We don't really need new friends.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagons. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Yeah. What's good, everyone? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Slamcast. Get ready. We're about to go deep.
10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon.
Swole Normuth.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Test, testing. Testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 1119 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gangcast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm, because we're not flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What the fuck is going on? You silly beaches, welcome to the Gain Train. Thanks for joining me live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitch. And for fucking your ear holes with the knowledge cock over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Castbox, Swolebox, your box, my box, someone that you like's box. Who cares? Wherever you're listening to the podcast, it's available everywhere. Make sure you go subscribe, and you can find out all the links. Get all the links over at swolenormusx.com. Click on podcast and you'll see all the links where you can choose the app of your choice, and I'll take you right to it, or just type it in. Don't be lazy. Daily Swole Podcast. What's going on, Beaches? Episode 1119. Feet to the hips. We're talking compensations. We're talking posture. We're going to talk about some of the things I've been posting and whatever the fuck else I want to talk about. What up? What's going on? What's good? What's the good word? Let y'all come in. Take your time. Come on in. No rush. Actually, no rush, but we ain't going to be here too long. We're going to get it fucking, we're going to hit it. We're going to quit it. Get in and get the fuck out. Get on with your day. I got shit to do, but I want to drop in and, do a little Daily Swole and shit like that. So what's going on? Romanian deadlifts. no such thing as a Roman deadlift. The Romans didn't deadlift. They didn't deadlift at all. Those fucking Romans, those Italians can't deadlift. They don't know what the fuck it's all about. They don't know what it's all about. Romanian deadlifts. I love it. Roman deadlifts. Crushing back. Nice. Tips on keeping neutral hips by training your glutes. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what I wanted to discuss today. So I posted a video on Instagram and Facebook. It's a throwback because today's Thursday, and it was about glute activation. It was about the gluteus medius lateral tube walking. And this is one of the basic, most stupid fucking simple exercises that everyone can do. Everyone can afford one of these bands. They're like $1 or $2. It's a simple piece of fucking rubber. However, most people that do these do them fucking wrong. And you'll see a lot of people with these big, thick bands or putting them over their thighs. Stupid, stupid, stupid shit. You should not be putting them over your thighs when you're doing lateral walking. You should put them lower because it will encourage you to demand focus on the hips in order to keep the feet aligned. One of the issues that people normally do, or that one of the problems with form with a lateral tube walk, is people tend to turn their toes out. They tend to open up their hips and bias towards their hip flexors because people are used to walking. And when your gluteus medius, the muscles on the side of your hip, shut down a lot, your body is not going to be prone or not going to look to using them. Your body is going to try to turn the hips and push forward with the hip flexors and with the rectus femoris and drive the foot normally like it would when you walk straight ahead. So make sure that you watch that video, pay attention to my form, pay attention to the cues, keep your feet straight ahead, pull your toes up, kind of invert your feet a little bit, soles of your feet pointing in a little bit. That way you'll bias towards the outer edge and you'll focus more on the gluteus medius, which is very important. And I know we jumped right into it, but that's the nips and the tits of this entire episode. That's one of the things that you should be doing every single day. You can do it every day. You should do it every workout. And there are many other exercises that you can do to activate the glutes. There is absolutely zero excuse to not do a glute activation exercise because you don't need a band. You just need to do focus controlled movements for the glutes. And there are many, many out there. I've demonstrated many of them on my blog. I've demonstrated them on YouTube. I've demonstrated them on Instagram, and I'm constantly demonstrating them. And those of you that are Swolenormous X members, you have access to all my glute activation videos and all the stuff that's coming and all the new releases. So you already have this content, and we've talked about it many times here on the podcast. But it's very important to make sure you turn these muscles on, because when you're sitting down in a car, you're sedentary, you're sitting at a desk, you're locked in position, which is one of the worst things you can do for the body. So if you are sedentary at your job, often it's an emergency situation for you. Essentially, if you're sitting down a lot, there is no time to waste to start balancing that out, because that's something that catches up to you really quick and will start wearing away and causing a lot of pressure and a lot of discomfort in your back, can cause shoulder problems, can cause knee problems, and it's something that snowballs very, very quickly. So if you're at a desk a lot and you're in traffic a lot, if you're in a hip flex position a lot, plus if you're wearing heels and sneakers and shoes, it's just something that snowballs very quickly and is a catalyst for many, 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 many knee injuries and lower back problems. So before you do any kind of strength training, you definitely want to make sure the right muscles are working. So this is one of those things that you can do to activate the muscles before a leg session. But you can do this every day. You can do this even on days where you don't do legs. You can do it on an arm day. You can do it on an off day, on a yoga day. Doesn't matter. It's hot as shit. So I'm just going to dab off my brow. Summer is here. Summer is here. And I just took the dog for a walk. So I'm sweating. The sweat stayed. And then I'm going to fucking go into the sauna in a little bit. I'm going to be sweating like crazy all day. I sweat a lot. Would a bungee cord work? No. What, a little tiny bungee cord? That would probably hurt. I mean, I guess technically it can work if you have two ankle straps and then you tie that between, but I would not just put a bungee cord. You can go on Amazon, spend $3 and buy one. You can get one. They're cheap. They're super fucking inexpensive. or do things like a single leg squat or hip bridge and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into all that because I'm not demonstrating any of them here. So for a lot of you, that'll just be words, throwing words out there, but you can Google this too. Very common. So how many of you are doing lateral tube walking? How many of you are doing this regularly? How many of you do glute activation exercises? This is one of the benefits of yoga. It's one of the benefits of yoga because you're shutting down these muscles that are very commonly tight. You're doing a lot of hip flexor lengthening. You're doing a lot of glute activation. You're doing a lot of external and internal rotation when you're practicing yoga regularly. And again, I'll say this over and over again for any of you that listen to the podcast for at least a couple weeks. If you have not yet started yoga, I'm going to call you a fucking asshole right now. If you've been listening to this podcast for a couple weeks at least, and you have not yet done yoga, you're an asshole. I've been telling you. I tell you all the time, and I've been telling you for weeks, if not months. Actually, I've been telling you for years, but some of you that have not listened to the podcast for years, of course, I didn't tell you. But if you have not yet started practicing yoga, you're an asshole because I literally just say it all the fucking time. And it will take a lot of these issues away. It's much better, I say, to practice yoga because you'll get so many more additional benefits from practicing yoga in addition to these simple physical things, rather than saying, hey, do 3 sets of 10, 3 times a week, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's really a good thing for a podcast. I don't think that's really an effective way to convey information because most of you are going to listen. Oh, cool. Lateral tube walking. Oh, cool. Internal rotation. Oh, cool. 90-90 hip rotation. Oh, cool. You're not going to fucking do it. You're not going to fucking do it. So I need to talk generally to you, talk simply, because for everyone that is listening to this, so many of you are still not practicing yoga. So I just have to hit you with a sledgehammer. Practice yoga. Start doing yoga. Start doing some mobility. How many of you, and it's okay. It's okay if you're an asshole. It's okay if you're a jabroni. It's okay. You can still transition out of this asshole state by starting practicing. How many of you have still, it's okay. I'm not going to call you an asshole. I'm not going to yell at you. But how many of you have not yet started practicing yoga? How many of you are practicing yoga? And if you are practicing, how many times a week are you doing it? How many of you are doing it regularly? And how many times a week are you doing it? If you're not doing it, you can put that below too. I might tease you a little bit, but I'm not going to be mean. I just want you to start. I've been doing yoga for the last 4 weeks, thanks to you. Good. See, you started. Yes. So I'm not going to yell at you. So no yelling at Anna Squirf. That's an interesting name. Anna Squirf. I don't do yoga, but do a lot of movement stuff similar to it. And Angola, capoeira, fucking yoga. You don't do it. No, you don't do yoga unless you do yoga. There's no a lot of movement stuff similar. Do yoga. Yoga is specific. Yoga is a specific practice. You'll love it. If you like that stuff, you'll love yoga. Once a week. I don't know what the capoeira is. Is that like fake fighting? The fake fighting dancing? That's all cool. I mean, but make sure you practice. Add it in once a week if you're doing those other stuff. Once a week. Add that in there. Would 1 to 2 days of 20 to 30 minutes of yoga be sufficient? Just start. Why don't you find out? Sufficient, that doesn't mean anything to me. Sufficient doesn't mean anything. That just means like, when you're asking me that, you're asking how little you can do to get by, and that's not the approach you want. Just start practicing it. I don't care if you do it once a week or 3 times a week. Once you start, you'll want to do it more, and you'll realize that 20 to 30 minutes probably isn't going to be enough. You're going to want to do it more. It's okay if some days you just don't have a lot of time, but you're going to want to practice it more. Just start doing it. Don't try to get it done. Like, hey, is this going to be enough yoga? I don't fucking know. Some people practice every single day. You can do yoga every day, just different types of yoga. It's like lifting. The only thing you shouldn't be doing every day is lifting. You shouldn't be lifting every fucking day. But yoga you could do every day. Complete asshole here. It's all good. 3 times a week, twice a week. Animal flow kind of stuff and capoeira every other day. Cool. Add it in. Add in some yoga once a week. Just started. Very nice. Do I recommend yoga for people who are hypermobile? Sure. Hypermobile just means you need more stability. You need to do more training to create balance around your joints and strength around your joints. Twice a week. Which app would you recommend for yoga? I wouldn't recommend any app. I would recommend Googling a video and doing it, going to a class. You could join Swolenormous X. We have a whole yoga studio. I don't know what other people have. I don't follow anyone else's shit. I don't know what other things. I only know what I do, and I focus on my shit. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, guaranteed. There's Google. There's a fucking shit ton of things out there. But that's why I make my own stuff, because I don't trust what other people do. I don't know what other people do. I don't know behind the scenes of every single program out there. But I do things my way, and I created a platform that will allow for all the content, training, nutrition, mobility, yoga classes, everything in one place. And I do it a certain way because I know what works for me and what works for my clients, my members, for years. So I just want to put it all in one spot. And, you know, everyone's going to have their own approach. Everyone's going to have their own thing. But a lot of times you'll find something that's yoga. It's just yoga. Or you find workouts and it's just workouts. I do everything. Swolenormous X is everything. Swolenormous X is all aspects of wellness. You know, it might not cover every last possible concept of exercise, but that's not the point. But you definitely want to have a strength training component in your program. You want to have a mobility, yoga, active recovery component. And for every person, it's going to be different. For example, if you're doing a lot of, capoeira and animal flow, whatever, that's just a very vague term for like moving as a human, which is fine. But, you know, you might not have as many days to practice yoga, or you might fall in love with yoga and love it more. Everyone's going to work it in differently, but the active recovery is really important. The active recovery is important. So however you filter that into your programming is something that's really important for helping you recover, and it will help you stay consistent with your strength training. And one of the biggest physical benefits of practicing yoga is the integration for the total body, but also your ability to be consistent with your strength training and minimize your risk of injury, because you're healing, you're balancing out the body, you're noticing those imbalances. When you start practicing yoga and you feel one hip or one ankle or one quad or one hamstring is a lot tighter than the other, and like, oh, you work on it a little bit more, it might make you second guess or think through, okay, should I be doing heavy squats tomorrow? Tomorrow I wanted to go heavier, but I'm feeling really tight on my right side. Maybe let me loosen this up a little bit, take an extra day off, do something else tomorrow, do a little bit more mobility, and then come back and crush it. So you learn more, you get more feedback from your body. So it'll help you make better decisions with your programming. I just described what active recovery was, Trisha, so you're welcome. When I'm not teaching yoga, I do it each day before class in the morning and before bed at night. Good stuff. Myofascial release stretching. Are you just smashing different words and concepts together? Myofascial release stretching. There's myofascial release and there's stretching. You're just combining those now? What does that mean? I love it. Or is that something someone created, or we're just combining terms now? Myofascial release, power stretching. I'm just kidding. Stretching's a very overwhelming. It's a very general term. I'm just fucking with you. Let's see. Will yoga help with my wrist pain? Depends on what's causing your wrist pain. It might actually make it worse. Some people have wrist issues if they're using a soft mat, or they're pushing too much into the heel of their hand, into their wrist. You push into the fingertips, push into the thumb and the index finger, which will help a lot transfer the pressure from like downward dog, for example, into the fingertips and away from the wrists. But if you have existing wrist issues, you can modify or adjust or use, maybe some pads or things like under your hands to give you a little bit more support. But again, it's hard for me to say because it depends on where the wrist pain or what is causing the wrist pain or what type of wrist pain. I mean, there's different types, or there's different things that might be causing you issues. Let's see. Swole in 7 is hot fire, especially in the morning for stretching. Awesome, Christy. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Join Swolenormous X, then do the new total. Oh, the new total. Oh, I got caught into two texts. Join Swolenormous X, then do the new total body Swollen 7. It's hot fire, especially in the morning for stretching. Thank you. Yeah, I was mentioning, actually, I went live in Swolenormous X Live earlier today. And I was mentioning again that a lot of the I'm going to be doing a lot more of these workouts that are great for traveling, band workouts, and swollen sevens that are strength based and things like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff coming. Been doing a lot of recording. The only thing that's struggling, that's hard, is to fucking edit the videos and get them up. It's just, that's so time consuming. But I film so much. I got hundreds and hundreds of gigabytes like every fucking day of just content. Oh, it's just so much. It's so much. It's overwhelming. Overwhelming. Oh well. Never going to complain about having too much content to edit. Just gotta get it edited. Gotta get it out there. Gotta put it up. The transfer of weight makes a huge difference. I just tried it. Thank you. Wow. You like just dropped down into a downward dog. Good for you. I think it's inflammation, eliminating grains and sugar to see if it helps. It could be. It could be. Sometimes joint pain or flare-ups and things might be caused by foods. That could be something that triggers it. It's possible. Es posible. First time catching you live. What's up? You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I am sweating. Woo. I'm sweating. It didn't help that I worked out, then came back and it was hot as hell, and I went outside with my shirt on, get some sun on my tits. So I got my body temperature up, and then I went for a walk. Well, took the beach for a walk. She's like lying stretched out. She's passed the fuck out. You need an assistant? Oh, I'm all set. I'm good. An assistant is not for editing. That's not what an assistant does. That's not what an assistant does. That's called a video editor. But thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your concerns. I was just rambling a little bit. No, everything's good. Everything's really good. But yes, start your yoga. If you're listening, start your yoga. If you're watching, start your yoga practice. The main idea from the feet to the hips I want to talk about today, I did get some cool new barefoot sandals in that I meant to get for a while. So I was thinking, because a lot of you know I'm always barefoot. I'm always doing things without shoes on, with my Vibrams on, with just trying to integrate my body better. And I really, 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 really dislike wearing shoes. I really, really dislike wearing footwear. Let's see them. I'm doing a podcast right now, so no thank you. Let me show you my shoes. No, we'll do that in a YouTube video or something maybe, or another day. I don't have them in my hand right now. But, when it comes to tying in everything together, what people forget or don't realize, that it's not about, oh, barefoot shoes, cool. If you wear barefoot shoes, you get to work all the muscles in your feet. That sounds great. Oh, work those muscles too. That's a detail. That's a small part of it. The reason why barefoot shoes or being barefoot is so important is, number one, it's the way we're supposed to be. When you put shoes on a child, when you wear shoes, high heel sneakers, you are fundamentally fucking up your posture. You're fucking up what your body wants to do. You don't want to shorten your Achilles tendon all the time. When you elevate your heels, your hips tilt forward. You get that anterior pelvic tilt, which causes your lower back to arch a lot more. That is a huge issue. Your footwear can directly affect your hips and your lower back, and then thus your neck and your upper spine. I will be doing some demos, like I mentioned before. A couple people were asking to see the shoes and the footwear. I will. Maybe tomorrow's episode, I'll bring them in here and we can talk about them a little bit more. It'll be like a second part to this. But when you are, and that's why women like to wear heels. And Nike fucked up all this. Nike, when they created running shoes and they changed how people walked, and they started talking about heel striking and giving a big fluffy cushion on the heel, it doesn't matter. The reason why you need a big cushy fucking fluffy heel is because you're not supposed to heel strike. Your body, your foot, the arch of your foot, that's what compresses. That's what allows that spring and that absorption of shock in order to translate back up through the calf to provide locomotion. Your foot does that. Your foot absorbs that kind of shock. That's what your foot is there for. That's what is supposed to happen. However, because we're running heel to toe, you need to have a big fluffy cushion on the back of your shoe in order to not be slamming and pounding and destroying your knees and your back, which still happens with that cushion. You're sending shockwaves up your body. if you take off your shoes and just kind of run down the hall, you'll naturally run on the balls of your feet. That's what's supposed to happen. So it's strengthening. Sure, you want to be more barefoot. You want to have more neutral shoes in order to strengthen the muscles, the ligaments, tendons, everything in your foot. But the reason is you have better alignment. When you elevate the heel, it throws off everything all the way up the body. So if you're changing the way the hips are aligned, the way the feet are aligned, the ankles, you are affecting your back, your neck, your knees. You're putting all those things at risk. And that's why there's a lot of chronic pain, a lot of chronic injury, simply because of sitting down too often, which is bad, and also compounded. Usually people are wearing heels or sneakers or elevated heels, whatever shoe, men, women, but they're also sitting down. So you got a lot of shortening with the hamstring. You got a lot of shortening with the hip flexors. You get a lot of deactivation with the glutes. You get a lot of pressure in the lower back because of that bent position. And you get a lot of tightness in the ankle. You're just fucking yourself up in all aspects, not to mention poor sleep, no exercise, bad food. Think about that. And that's why people have diseases. If you're doing things properly, if you're just moving better has to do a lot more than just, going for a walk. It's like, let's start with the basics. Let's start aligning our bodies better. That's why yoga is great, because you're doing it barefoot. You're starting to stretch out the fascial tissue and the connective tissue in the bottom of the foot. You're starting to open up your toes more. You can even get things like these. I actually just happen to have these on the desk. Toe spreaders. You get these little gel things. You can wear these while you're practicing yoga. These are great. These are great too. Maybe I'll put a link in my Instagram story and stuff where you can get these, but this is actually a great, these are really, I say comfortable, but they actually separate your toes and they help fan your feet out, which is what is supposed to naturally, your feet are supposed to be, spread out. Your toes are supposed to be spread out, but they get all foot bound when you wear sneakers and your pinky gets all pulled in and all your metatarsals get squished together. So you can wear these little rubber toe spreaders when you practice yoga. When you're walking around the house, you wear them intermittently and it'll help stretch your feet out and help give you a little bit of pressure and relaxation. And there's other things like, let's say you can get like these little, if you have a standing desk, you can stand on a tennis ball, stand on a golf ball. You can get one of these things. This is one of these like foot pads you can get with it's like plastic, but you can stand on them and it gives a little proprioception and massage to your feet and help strengthen. And, it's really cool. So always giving your feet stimulation is a good thing. Walking outside more barefoot, completely barefoot, wearing minimalist shoes and footwear. It's just training your body, but you don't really have to do, I was going to say you don't really have to do anything actively to do it. Just be more barefoot. But because you've been wearing shoes your whole life, you have to be a little more careful. You can't just go randomly, just go do everything barefoot, because you can get stress fractures, because all of a sudden you're just unloading all this stress onto your feet and they're not ready for it. So it's something you have to progress into gradually, but it'll really benefit you. It's better to be aligned. It's better to be in a natural state. It's the way your body is meant to be. So it'll help alleviate a lot of issues that can come from being sedentary. So that's why yoga is so important. That's why being barefoot is so important. And all these things that you can do to move better, because it's a part of your life all the time. Has nothing to do with, nutrition and weight loss and having abs and having bigger arms. And that's all cool. That's fitness industry shit. But we also have to talk about the things that are affecting everyone. And it has nothing to do with being in the gym and getting leaner. It's just like how we're moving is just fundamentally fucking wrong. It's just fundamentally just jacked up. It's fundamentally jacked up because of things that we don't even. That's why I keep talking about the foundation, the basics, wearing fucking shoes. That's fundamentally wrong. And everyone's worried about weight loss and keto and paleo and how many carbs and counting macros. Take off your fucking shoes. You're binding your feet. People are forgetting that fucking fact. Take your fucking shoes off. Take off these hoofs that you're wearing. It's fucking weird looking. When you take your shoes off and you don't wear and you stop wearing shoes all the time, when you look at people, if you stare at people, watch people walk around. If you go to the mall or you go to a supermarket, just look at their feet. Look at everyone's feet. It looks so fucking weird watching people walk around with sneakers on and shoes on. It looks so fucking weird. And maybe it's just me, but when you don't wear shoes and you're and you get used to it and you get used to just being barefoot all the time and you see people that are wearing shoes, it looks so fucking weird. So weird. I lift in my basement with concrete floors wearing flat Vans. Should I just go barefoot? I would, but I'm not saying that you're ready for it or you should. I wouldn't do any jumping or anything. It's concrete floor, but Vans, get those fucking things off. Vans are compressing your feet too. The flat is just part of it, but all those shoes just compress your toes and form your feet differently. Like, you're not getting support from your Vans. There's no need to wear them. That's my opinion. However, there is a little bit of a cushion, so if you're standing on barefoot, you might get a little bit of discomfort. You might get a little fatigue. Just be careful with it. Or get like a hard pad, like a lifting, like a squat pad or something if you're not used to it or you're not ready for it. Tennis balls are cool. Well, plantar fasciitis comes a lot from wearing shoes and tightening the Achilles tendon and weakening the feet and weakening the anterior tibialis and lengthening all those things. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Moon shoes. They do look like moon shoes. I wore yoga socks in yoga. Well, you wore socks. You didn't wear shoes. You mean the little sticky bottoms that give you grip? You mentioned the shortening of the tibia. No, I don't. That's a bone. You can't shorten that. And wearing lifting shoes. I don't know. Yeah, I definitely didn't say shortening of the tibia. And but I do Olympic lifting and we have to wear them. You do wear them. You don't have to wear shit. Can I help offset the fact I wear them to train and compete? I mean, wear them if you want to wear them. And if you're doing powerlifting and stuff like that, wear them. Don't wear them other times. Like, you can be barefoot all the time and then wear shoes. It's like when you're playing football, if you're a professional football player, you don't wear cleats all the time. But when you're playing the sport, you put cleats on. I would recommend just being barefoot regularly for your regular training. If you're competing or you're training for a competition, when you're doing those sets, you could put the shoes on. But then for your other training, you can take them off. You don't have to be wearing shoes all the fucking time. It's a tool. The shoes should be a tool. If you're going to run a track meet, maybe you're going to wear track shoes. Okay. And then if you're going to go golfing, maybe you're going to wear golf shoes. Okay. Maybe you're going to go play basketball. You're going to wear basketball shoes. Okay. I mean, fine. You don't have to go play basketball barefoot. But my point is, you use those things for a tool. People just happen to use shoes all the fucking time and wear these elevated heels for always when they don't need to. And we're putting them on children all the time. People are just fucking doing it all the time. So there's no need to be wearing shoes and hoofs all the fucking time. However, if you're going to do a powerlifting meet and you want to wear your powerlifting platform shoes, fine. I have a pair of those. I just don't prefer them. Sometimes I wear them, but not often. You ever watch Dual Survival? I don't know what that is. So no. The answer would be no. I don't even know what that is. Is that a show? I assume, because you said you ever watch it. I just ran in my new barefoot shoes last night. It was amazing. Cool. Be careful. Soft surfaces. What shoes do you have? After wearing Vibrams for the last year at work, my toe box has widened noticeably, for sure. And a lot of barefoot style shoes like Vivo Barefoot have bigger toe boxes for that reason. Your feet are supposed to spread out more. Absolutely. I wish I can go barefoot all the time. My boss wouldn't appreciate it. Well, there are shoes. They're more dress shoes. I mean, Vivo Barefoot, for example, they're not cheap, but they have dress shoes. They have like nicer, like dress up shoes with like neutral. They're more barefoot. They have their own soles and they have their own mobility. So you can wear dressier shoes that are neutral, that don't have a big heel, that move more dynamically with your foot, but they're definitely not cheap. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of other brands out there, so it depends on what you're wearing them for. If you need to wear a suit and a tie or khakis to work or whatever you're doing, it depends. I, of course, have more flexibility because I have my own business, and my business is to tell you all to fucking stop wearing so many shoes. But I do this all. I mean, I've been wearing the Vibrams for years and I prefer them, and I've, kind of gone back and forth where I just phased out of it. I just couldn't. It got to the point where I was barefoot so often, I just couldn't put on shoes anymore or sneakers. Like I had a couple pairs I would wear on occasion, and even an old pair of Chucks that I have, I just can't wear them. I put them on, they just feel goofy and floppy. It's so weird. It's so weird. So weird. It's so weird. I can't really even explain it. It's something that you don't realize until you're barefoot really frequently. And then you realize, wow, it feels really funky to wear shoes. Now I get it. And it's hard to pass that along when you're used to wearing shoes your whole life. And believe me, when I was younger, I was barefoot a lot. But then, of course, like I was wearing sneakers. I was wearing shoes a lot. I regret it. But I used to get shin splints like crazy when I was playing baseball in high school and college. I would get crazy shin splints from running, heel to toe, of course. Once I started, because I was into running and doing trail runs and stuff a lot when I was graduate college and I came down to Florida and shit like that. But I started running on the beach. I started doing barefoot running. The shin splints completely went away right away. Like just fucking gone. I have not gotten them once since. Once I started doing barefoot running like 10 years ago, once I started doing barefoot like all the time, not once, not a single time have I ever gotten shin splints. You're getting shin splints because you're running heel to toe. You're getting shin splints because your running form fucking sucks and your dynamic posture sucks. You're just mechanically running wrong. If you do barefoot running, you will not get shin splints. You will not. You will fucking not. You just have to progress carefully. You can't just go from wearing shoes your entire life and then go barefoot and start jumping around, running around on pavement and shit. You're going to fuck yourself up. So if you're running barefoot, you should do it on soft surfaces. I don't think anyone should be running period on concrete ever. I think that's silly. But if you're doing barefoot running, run on a soft surface, run on grass, run on dirt, run on sand, run on something soft, just stay off the roads. But barefoot running, because it's almost like a shuffle. It's almost like a shuffle. You're really cushioning each step. You're not running long strides, pounding on your heels, sending shockwaves up your body. You're cushioning each step and you find your stride. So it's a practice. And especially if you've been running differently your whole life. However, if you take your shoes off and you kind of jog down the hall, if you have a wood floor or concrete, whatever, and you just have to run to the other end of the hall, you'll naturally go on the balls of your feet for a reason. Your body does not want to be on its heels. So why would you strap on shoes and run differently? Think about that. If you put on shoes, you're going to run heel to toe. But if you take them off, your natural instinct is to run on the balls of your feet because that's the way you're supposed to be. So when you're wearing shoes, you're affecting the foundation of your body. And if you change the angle, the way your ankle is positioned is going to affect the way your knees line up, the way your hips are aligned, the way your lower back is aligned. Because if your hips tilt forward because you're wearing heels, your lower back has to arch more. And that leads towards chronic back pain, chronic extension, herniated discs, and things like that. Running barefoot in the grass sounds so nostalgic. You mean natural? It does sound natural. Thank you for being awesome from a disabled veteran. Oh, thank you. Just started following you and we'll be starting all over again to get healthy and back into lifting. Cheers. A moral vapor glove. Vapor glove? Merrill, you mean? Vapor glove. I think you mean Merrill, not moral. I've heard of Merrills. Vapor glove. I don't know if there's other spelling typos there. I haven't worn those. Well, you're supposed to build calluses. If you get calluses on your feet, it's the same thing. If you work with your hands, you're going to get calluses on your hands. If you work with your feet, you're going to get calluses on your feet. It's your body's natural adaptation to protecting the feet because there's friction on the foot. So your body is going to build stronger feet. It's stronger feet. You can still take care of your feet. Everyone wants fancy, nice, baby skin, smooth feet. Oh, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. You don't have to have craggly old nasty feet. You just got to take care of your feet. Take care of them. Wash them. Care for them, stretch them, strengthen them, massage them. Take care of your feet. Take care of your feet. I'm like digging my feet into that foot pad right now. Well, it's not a foot pad. It's like fucking bumpy rocks. I just burped. That was me. In dual survival, one guy always is on barefoot. It's really awesome. Cool. Where else do you work other than providing dope-ass content for us? I own Swolenormous. It's my media company. Check out swolenormousx.com. Does your girlfriend do the barefoot too? She has Vibrams, yeah. She's also a makeup artist, so she's wearing heels and stuff like that. I give her shit for it all the time because those shoes are fucking prisons. But I'm also not a woman, so you try telling a woman to not wear high heels or to not wear shoes that women like. Good luck with that. It's not my feet, but it's important that you're balancing that out. So if you do wear heels, you have to be more aggressive. You have to be really aggressive in balancing that out. If you're going to wear sneakers or wear shoes or steel-toed boots or wear high heels, you got to do a lot of yoga, stretch your feet out, take care of it, balance it out, strengthen your anterior tibialis, massage and foam roll your calves. Like, be aggressively active in balancing that out. I run on the balls of my feet with shoes on, and I always thought I was weird. Really? That's weird. That is weird. It's weird to run on the balls of your feet with shoes because the shoes are designed to almost force you to run on your heels. That's good, though. I actually don't like wearing shoes when I'm at home. Fuck that. If you're wearing shoes in your house, you're really weird. Do not wear shoes in your house. Take them the fuck off. Plus, they're dirty. Since I was a child, I never wore shoes at home. For sure. Faux show. My husband gives me shit all the time, too, for the heels. It's hard. I wear the Vivo barefoot as much as I can. Good stuff. Look, you do the best you can. You do the best you can. But I'm telling you, if you are barefoot more often, you are going to learn so much more about your body. You'll learn from doing it. When you're barefoot more often, you'll realize, oh, I get it. And once you go back to wearing sneakers or shoes or something, after you go barefoot a lot, you're like, oh. Because then once you're used to being barefoot, then you go back to the shoes and you feel restricted for the first time. Like, oh, God. And then it'll never be the same. Because your feet will actually open up more. And then when you wear shoes, they're all constricted. You're like, fuck, this is what it's like? No heels, platforms, etc. for me. Pain, pain, pain. No heels. No heels. No heels. No heels. Do not wear heels. That elevation is what really sets off your posture. That's what really sets off your posture. When you elevate the heels, everything tilts in a different way. That's when shit really goes off the rails. All right. So I will do, I'm going to try to remember to continue this conversation tomorrow. Maybe I'll bring in like the sandals and a couple different things of footwear and I'll show them. We'll talk about a couple different things that I have and maybe discuss them in more detail. Would you like that? If you'd like that, put in the comments below and maybe we'll do that. We'll continue it tomorrow. And remember to go over to swolenormousx.com to check out the latest workouts on the blog. You can check out links to subscribe to the podcast, apparel links, and more if you want to get some Swolenormous gear. Brand new Ask Papa Swole over on my YouTube channel, so go check that out at Swolenormous. And I'll see you tomorrow for episode 1120 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio. Out.